crying in public has very particular connotations.
Okay.
Done correctly or
Let's do some push-ups.
it carries a great deal of meaning. There's a true
Straddle planche, frog, whatever you want to call it.
beyond performance. But
Either way, feet off the ground.
If it doesn't seem authentic, then what does it become? The ultimate artifice, the ultimate cynicism of deploying that which we consider to be authentic in order to meet your own ends. What we by and large expect and experience from politicians is a complete lack of sincerity and authenticity. It's not
Get the Reebok logo there, that's sponsorship.
Emerges that we feel intuitively trust that they're telling us the truth, that they're being honest. And the reason for that is because they're not. £18 billion in coronavirus-related contracts were awarded during the first 6 months of the pandemic, with £1.5 billion going to companies with connections to the Conservative Party. Companies with a government referral were 10 times more likely to end up winning a contract than those without. And check out this, this is a story you might be familiar with. An acquaintance and former neighbour of Matt Hancock is supplying the government with tens of millions of vials for NHS COVID-19 tests despite having no previous experience of producing medical supplies. Meanwhile, in the United States, the batch of contracts worth
Let's do it at an angle here.
$100 went to Health Supply US, a company founded 6 months ago by a former Trump administration official. Zach Fuentes, LLC, which is led by President Trump's former deputy chief of staff, has awarded $3 million contract to provide respirator masks, which subsequently could be used. So, like, there's this performative element of politics going on the TV and sort of cry laughing. Then there's this reality of politics.
Let's do it underhand.
Decisions made that are advantageous to friends, affiliates, and associates. I suppose what this indicates is behind the theatre of conventional politics, business as usual is being conducted. In fact, it's business better than usual. The extremely wealthy. The coronavirus pandemic and corresponding lockdown has made way for one of the greatest wealth transfers in history. Billionaires increased their wealth by more than a quarter at the height of the crisis from March to June, just as 42 million Americans filed for jobless claims or struggled to get by on government schemes. It's not just corporate power that's increasing. The pandemic has been used to mobilise an increase of state power, which of course to some degree must be necessary to control a pandemic. But let's have a look at some of the examples.
Let's see.
Appropriate.
This
The
way.
Australian government has enacted a series of measures, including the use of smartphone contact tracing technology. In Britain, ministers have increased power to detain people in closed
that's right.
Israel's Prime Minister